All right, hello everyone. Excuse the background noise if there's any. I'll start this by saying I don't have any editing software at the moment, and I'm not I'm not about paying for Adobe, so this might just be kind of a clean run through. Um, yeah, to start, I'm Connor. I'm 24, and like the title suggests, this is kind of I don't know what the title will be yet. We'll get there when we get there. Long COVID, Neuro COVID journey, something like that. Get all of the tag words in there. Yeah, so where do I start? I guess now I'm approaching month 25 of long COVID, or whatever this this interesting condition that I face is. To kind of I'll take you back to the start, and then we'll kind of work to how we got here. If you know, Neuro Long COVID, and our memory is like, a goldfish. But I'm gonna do my best to kind of work my way through to where I am now, symptoms, what's improved, what has remained stagnant and unchanged, and then sort of maybe how I came to terms with things, and acceptance and that bullshit. So yeah, sit back and get some food. I don't know. And yeah, so I just want to start this by saying, if you are watching this, and you are, thank you for clicking on this video. I just want to validate you by saying everything that you're feeling, all the horrible emotions, just this like breadbasket of bullshit that you've gone through, whether it's been a week, a month, a year, 4, it's real, and it's not anxiety, and it's not mental. It's in your head, but in a physical sense. For so long, and we'll get there on the sort of on the journey. But for so long, I was dealing with people not getting it, and gaslighting doctors and people being upset and whatnot. But it comes down to the fact that only you know your own experience. Only you can live through your own eyes and extremities, and you're a brain in a in a flesh mech suit, and you ultimately are the only one who can kind of feel if something's off. Your tests have probably been great if you've done bloods, MRIs, A to Z from what you could have at the doctor, and everything has come back fine, and time passes and you still feel the same, and it's a really crappy feeling. I know that for sure. You start off with like so much passion, kind of like an animal in a trap, just like fighting it. And not to sound depressing, even though it sort of is, after a while you just kind of like chill and realize that all that only makes you worse to a degree. When you go to doctor's visits and hoping for something, I live in Canada, so when you wait like 8 months for an appointment just to be told, like, basically, oh, we can't do anything for your brain fog. Basically, I'm missing fingers. I was born missing fingers. The nurses there were actually like, we haven't seen anyone with amniotic band syndrome before, and we'd love to look at that. And they spent literally more time talking about that than they did brain fog, which they sort of brushed off. To get back to the story on hand here, March 22nd, 2022. So it's been like, yeah, almost 25 months. Cue that like Mr. Krabs meme right here of him like ringing the bell. I got home from work or something. I was living with my parents at the time, and we had been really good throughout COVID, and masked up, and it had been 2 years at that point, and I was working, I was going out, and I didn't get it. At least I don't think I, excuse me, I don't think I got it. Um, I know that one of the vaccines that can I say that word? Oh shit! They might take my video down. I don't think I said it fully. One of the jabs, maybe, is that okay to say? One of the jabs really got me sick. I was in bed for, I don't even know, a week. I think I was like hallucinating. Um, I got like tinnitus, ringing ear pretty soon after that. But I figured, hey, I'm probably, that sickness kind of took it like a champ. I took it like a champ, and there's no way I could get sick from COVID after that, or extremely sick. And I was right, because when I did get sick, I didn't even really feel it aside from like I think it was Omicron. So aside from like and to preface again, like I'm no doctor, I'm no scientist. I could be after all this googling, manic googling I've done. But yeah, I think it was Omicron. I couldn't smell, I couldn't taste. Getting up out of bed in the morning, like getting out of a 90-degree, kind of angle, there would be such pressure in my brain and head, and I would feel like a elephant was on top of me. But once I got out and I started moving, everything was a-okay. I just stayed home all day, called in sick to work, played that Egyptian Assassin's Creed game all day, and I was like, honestly, this isn't that bad. And I saw on the news, and I guess this is where I jinxed myself, thinking about brain fog and long COVID. And I was like, what are they? I don't remember what I said exactly, but it was along the lines of like, yeah, right, brain fog from like a cold. Okay. Um, so maybe this is karma sort of kicking me in the butt. It's been a experience, it's been a learning journey. So I'm uh, I'm glad to have gone through it and to made it this far. To come from nothing and to build yourself up, and if you're the same way, and you are, because there's no other way, you have to keep moving. You are really strong, and no one else can understand having a chronic illness or ailment, even if it's one symptom. You know, people don't get it. People think you're lazy. People think you're just, you don't want to talk or boring or whatever. But like deep down in your heart, you know that if this was on their shoulders, if this team was on their shoulders, they would fold. Um, but after going through it, you just have to keep going. Um, Anyways, I'll get back to it. So yeah, I got sick, and at that point, I was in the last year, third year of my advertising program that I was in. I was a copywriter, pretty good copywriter. I really enjoyed. Right, got a message. Let me just turn on that do not disturb. Sorry about that. I'll respond later. Um, yeah, I was a copywriter, and I'm saying this now because it takes 2 to 3 months, seemingly, for the long COVID to kick in, I suppose. And well, that was true in my case because it seemed almost gradual, but almost overnight too, from like April to May to June of 2022, sometime in that time period, where I started noticing all these symptoms, these crazy symptoms that I really had never felt before. Now, I had anxiety and depersonalization, derealization from sort of issue that I had in the beginning of 2021, where, yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I just woke up one day and this anxiety I'd never really felt before, and this state of being detached, almost like you're in like a movie or watching one, like someone else is living through your eyes, was really scary, right? I know DPDR, depersonalization, derealization, anxiety, are symptoms of COVID, just as well as, you know, a whole list of other things. So, you know, I had been through that, but yeah, just oh boy, here's the brain fog going through. Where was I? Hmm. I'm gonna have to pause and. Okay, we're good. As I was saying, sorry about that disruption. I had anxiety before I had DPDR, so I kind of knew how bad that was, but you know, I had pulled through, and I had anxiety when I was a kid or a teen, like anyone does about anything, but especially when they have some differences on them. But all that to say that none of that compared, and still doesn't compare to the sort of overall hijacking of like your organ systems by COVID. Um, I mentioned, I'll start off with brain fog. I mentioned that I was a creative advertising student. I was in a program for years. I was a great writer. I always loved to write music or poems or you know, short creative stories, or just really anything. I love to write, and I was a good copywriter. And I say that because in the months following my COVID infection, so like May, June of 2022, when I was working as a copywriter intern, finally kind of taking the first, maybe second step to, you know, achieving my dream, I realized that the creative syntax and the amazing imagination and the sort of theater of the mind that I had, that I excelled with, and that I really placed a lot of my self worth on, self image, you know, was gone. They they closed the theater down. It, like, even now when I close my eyes or when I'm open, when I'm talking, there would used to be images and songs and apples rotating and all this, you know, all this stuff that I could entertain myself with and use to my advantage. And I was, I'll say, really smart and well spoken and intelligent. And afterwards, it's just like there's nothing there, and it just felt every day at the internship trying to think or retain or gain any new information, or talk to the girl that I was dating at the time, and it's like things would go in one year and just exit the other. I would have to make notes. It was so embarrassing. I would have to make notes like during dates or for anything really, to even know what she or what my like manager had said, because I would just forget things like that. And when you're in a hole like that, you don't really realize how bad it is, especially with when your brain fog starts. It's really hard to compare because it almost feels like you've never been any other way, but it does. Like it's hard to explain, but I think if you have it, you kind of know what I mean. Um, yeah, it's a bad state, and unfortunately, 2 years later, 25 months later, I still have it. Is it better? If you're just starting out, yes, it is better. Um, Marginally, however. Um, this video isn't like a recovery story or anything like that. It's slow, but I do notice with, I'll either make a video, I guess separate, sorry about that, separate to this, or like how I've kind of managed to get here. I think it'll be a second video, but it's slightly better. Only now, and I realized I should have been doing this like a year ago. I should have been resting. Instead, I got a full-time job after the internship as a copywriter, and I think I was too proud to admit to myself that you're not ready for this. You would have been if you weren't, but your body is not right and you're only making yourself worse. I didn't know that. I didn't even think that way. I just drank 2 Red Bulls a day and had a lot of coffee and a lot of sugar to try to push my brain to be able to write. All while my brain and the gears that push your amygdala and everything, your limbic system, are just like screaming and frying. And I would notice so many points during the day where my blank mind would just somehow get blanker, and looking at the screen or looking at a word would like send like an earthquake through my brain. Like I had constant headache for about a year and a half, but it's like this brain fog, words do it no justice. It's like your brain becomes an empty cave or an empty room, a dark room, with a single light bulb in the middle. And you can kind of remember where things are, but the light doesn't shine on anything too long and it doesn't get close. So you're stuck with just like fragments of thought, proto thought, that really can't get you by in life as a professional copywriter. When you can't even think of words to write, when you do push through and you need to like close your eyes for 10 minutes, it wasn't working. So the brain fog took its toll on me. It took a toll on a lot. That would be an understatement. Really, it affected most of my relationships. It affected the way I see myself, and it affected, my future, and it was really bad. It was really bad. Yeah, that was not a great time, and there's like a blankness that fittingly hangs over the first maybe year and a half, along with a lot of the memory issues that come with Neuro Long COVID. For me, I had almost like a photographic memory. I could remember August 15th, 2011, if someone were to mention something, I could be like, oh, I was wearing my red Crocs that day, or like I could pinpoint stuff like that. And now it's a bit better too, so don't worry, there's a slow gradual climb. When it first happened, my memory, like I had said previously, was completely shot. So again, like we touched on, brain fog, memory. I also had increased like depersonalization, DPDR, which I didn't really feel at the time, but looking back, it was there. Things looked weird. I didn't feel fully myself, but I was kind of lying to myself and just trying to push through. So maybe now we're in like September, October of 2022, and if those symptoms weren't bad enough, feeling like I couldn't be creative, that I wasn't myself, that like literally my brain was like fried and it wasn't me, this primal, like horrible, absolutely horrible, the worst I had ever felt in my life ever in any regard. All of this like surgeries that I've had, I've been through the ringer with that, doesn't even come close. This anxiety, you're your worst own enemy, and when your own brain is working against you to show you, like, I won't go into detail of what it was, just throws you off from any happiness you can have when and I know a lot of you like on Reddit, people who reach out to me with questions and stuff have issues with anxiety and blank minds. So I know a lot of you feel this, but it's like the anxiety from COVID is like a whole different monster than what you can have in your normal like BC life. It takes hold of your deepest fears and your, at least in my case, with the lack of anything else going on in your brain, anxiety still finds its way to like to show itself and to show you things that you don't want to see or think about, and ultimately those things accumulated, and I was in a really bad state mentally for a year maybe. It was pretty bad. I was not, like, looking back, it's like a different person almost. I think the damage that I had was so bad that I just glaze over from like May, June of 2022 to the end of that year, even like into like the summer of 2023. So I was bad. I don't really know what I'm doing with this video, but yeah, it just, if you're out there and you have these problems, like I've been there, a lot of people have been there too, so don't feel alone in that. You know, I even forgot to mention, like, time went on, job that I was put up a facade of myself to like work, got fired from, can't write, can't edit with brain fog, just like everything came to a lot of things in my life came to a halt, and COVID won for about 6 or 7 months, from like September of that year of 2023 to literally like February of this year. I was just, I was in the hole. And whether you start there and you work your way up, or you like teeter totter over like lava until you finally fall in when your symptoms catch up to you, like crashing, whatever. Everyone gets there at one point or another. At least most from what I've seen. I've seen people recover from the worst, and then some people who have light symptoms that never go away. So it seems to be random, but I wasn't leaving the house. I was just sort of depressed. Fatigue came on as a new symptom. It was horrible, man. Woman. And yeah, I guess I'm just putting this out to say that I don't notice a lot of guys in at least like the Reddit or YouTube videos that I've seen. So the guys who have reached out to me, who do have blank mind or brain fog or whatever, like, again, I'll make a video on things that you can do to sort of help, supplements I've tried, like life changes and things that you can do to improve. But I want to say, ultimately, for me, long COVID comes down to a few things. Some sort of disruption in the blood-brain barrier of your brain, and gut dysbiosis, or like a ruined microbiome, which you might try to push through and just make worse by pushing your brain, or by pushing your brain by taking caffeine or sugar, which just furthers the damage in your microbiome, which furthers the sort of like I'm not a doctor, but I'm gonna leave a few links in the description to a few really helpful videos, and then soon enough I will make a video on things that I did that really helped me with the anxiety. Even though it's it's a day by day thing, anxiety, brain fog. Um, I found a few practices to help out. So where am I today? 2 years down the line, uh, 25 months again. There's definitely some positive changes that I've noticed. Before, I really struggled to get other people to understand emotion, to really feel my own emotions and others. It was like completely cut off. Now, after doing some, after after trying some things out, which a few different practices and and ways to open up your mind, I guess. So I'll leave that. I can give more details maybe in another video. That this isn't really that. I found kind of an acceptance of my own symptoms, more empathy for myself, and understanding that little old brain, is hurting, and I have to be kinder to myself. But also an empathy to understand that the fights that I was having with people, family, partners, the fights that were manifesting as like tension between me and managers, or just a general unease that I felt in my own soul. I realized that I needed to have improved empathy for those that I love and those that I'm close to, because even though this is hard on me, it was really, really extremely hard on them to deal with, to live with, and to see this person that they knew change. And my family's supportive, but for like a year there, not for their own, it's not like they weren't trying to be. No one knew what was going on. So how can you support someone when you don't really know how to, right? Um, I feel like that's a shared experience for a lot of people. Families don't get it. No one really gets it but yourself. That's why a lot of us like, watching videos or asking questions on the Reddit, because who else are you going to ask? Your doctor? And again, through no fault of their own or through anyone else, but personally, the top COVID people that I know and neuro doctors, neuroscientists and whatnot had no answers. So I get it. And yeah, I just want to say that it can get better. Slowly but surely, it can. I'm back at work now. I stepped back. I returned to a part-time job that I had worked all throughout college that I loved, that I worked throughout my first kind of year of the brain fog as well. But I quit that, and then shortly after I lost the other job, so I was just sort of getting worse, and that worsened the anxiety. But yeah, it's a slow burn of watching your life sort of crumble around you as the foundations that relied on you being a healthy individual give out when they realize that you're not. In some cases, some remain, but hiding symptoms and pretending to be someone you're not is ultimately the worst thing that you can do. And I'd recommend, if you can, I know this comes from a place of privilege, if you can take time off to rest, to especially rest your mind, that's one of the best things that you can do. Again, I'll make a video on best practices for kind of helping your brain out, helping anxiety, so the brain, the gut connection. But for now, I just want to say that time can do a lot for you. Being positive, trying to, at least in the hardest times, can do a lot for you. And sort of realizing that you're really strong for doing this, and that if you've done it for push through for 1 month, you can push through for another, and if you push through for 1 year, you can do 2. And I know it's easier said than done, but I couldn't imagine being here when I first started and having the perspective and the acceptance that I have today and that I continue with, the empathy, the expanded feelings. And even though my memory isn't perfect, even though my brain fog isn't perfect, you know, I can live a satisfying, happy life with the understanding that I might never be that old guy, but that doesn't have to dictate, you know, my mood. It doesn't have to mean that I can't do anything, that I can't be happy. And once you realize that, accepting a challenge like this only gets easier. I might make a video as well on books that I've read that have really helped me. But I really like Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, Stoic philosopher, emperor, really cool guy, who said something along the lines of like, be thankful for this challenge because you'll be able to grow from it, and know that many other people who would have been in the same boat wouldn't have. I'll include that in you know, maybe right there. But yeah, I know this was a bit of a ramble, and I can't really write a script, and my head was hurting trying to put like a PowerPoint together. So I just wanted to talk. But yeah, I hope that if you're down and you're in that like YouTube spiral or Reddit spiral, I hope this helped a bit. And if you do want a video about things that helped my brain fog, anxiety, maybe talking more about like that brain, body, gut connection, I would love to do that. So yeah, but thanks for watching this first video, guys. I've always wanted to say this: hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and that like. I'll come with some more videos. And yeah, I hope you have a great night or day or whenever you watch this. So bye.